The drug war on the US-Mexico border has escalated as the cartels has begun trafficking terrorists across the US border. In this adventure drama, CIA agent Matt Gravier enlists a mysterious operative to help investigate a Mexican drug cartel that has been smuggling terrorists in the US. Things escalated when the daughter of a top kingpin is abducted, forcing Raver and his partner re-evaluate their mission. A suicide bombing in a Kansas City grocery store kills 15 people. The United States government responds by authorizing CIA agent Matt Gravier to apply extreme measures to combat Mexican drug cartels, who are suspected of smuggling the terrorists across the border. Gravier and the Department of Defense decided the best option is to investigate a war between the major cartels and the Gravier Rescue Block operative Alejandro Gilix for the mission. Gilix assassinated a high-profile lawyer of the Matamoros cartel in Mexico City while Gravier and his team kidnapped Isabel Reyes, the daughter of the kingpin of their rival, in the false flag operation. Gravier, Gillick and their team take Isabel to Texas and stage a rescue with the DEA and the local police to make her think she was kidnapped by his father's enemies. Gillick bands with Isabel and the team makes plans to transport her back to Mexico, intending to leave her in a territorial control by her father rivals, and the order of the father escalated to conflict.
Our topic for today is about the Sicario of the Soldados. Sicario's Day of the Soldados is a 2018 American action crime film, directed by Stefano Sollima and written by Taylor Sheridan. It is a sequel to the 2015 film Sicario. The movie follows the CA operative Matt Graber, played by Josh Brolin, and the mysterious hitman Alejandro Gillick, portrayed by Benicio del Toro as they team up again, combat Mexican drug cartels involved in human trafficking. The story explores complex themes of morality, loyalty, and blurred lines between good and evil in the context of the drug war scenario. Sicario. Day of the Soldado picks up where the film left off. Thus delves deeper into the world war of the drug war along the U.S. In this sequel, the U.S. government becomes increasingly concerned about the flow of illegal immigrants and terrorists crossing the border from Mexico. To combat the issue by enlisting the help of CIA operative Matt Graber or Josh Brolin, Graber devises a plan to instigate war between two rival drug cartels, hoping that the chaos will distract them from their human trafficking activities. To execute this plan, he enlists the help of the enigmatic hitman Alejandro Gillick, Benicio del Toro, who was a personal vendetta against of the cartel of the leaders. However, things take a dark turn when their operation goes away, leading to unexpected consequences. As the situation spirals out of the control, Graver and Gillick find himself facing moral dilemmas and questioning their own loyalty to their government and their motives. The movie explored the harsh realities of the drug war, the moral ambiguity of covert operation, and the sacrifice made in the name of national security. It also delves into the complicated relationship between Graver and Gillick, adding depth to their character and motives. Overall, Sicario Day of the Soldado is a tense and thought-provoking film that showcases the complexities and harsh realities of the ongoing drug war along the U.S.-Mexico border.
FBI agent Matt Graver calls on mysterious operative Alejandro Gilic when Mexican drug cartels start to smuggle terrorists across the U.S. border. The war escalates even further when Alejandro kidnaps a top kingpin daughter to deliberately increase the tension. When the young girl is seen as collateral damage, the two men will determine her fate as they question everything that they are fighting for. The drug war on the U.S.-Mexico border has escalated as the cartel have begun trafficking terrorists across the U.S. border. To fight the war, Federal Agent Matt Graver re-teams with the mercurial Alejandro, a suicide bombing in a Kansas City grocery store killed 15 people. Alejandro kidnapped a top kingpin daughter in order to deliberately increase the tension between the rival cartels. However, things do not go as planned, and the cartels figure out that the government is involved. Alarcon ordered the hit on Alejandro's family to hurt the lawyer and his Colombian business year earlier, but now Alejandro had finally gained access to his mansion where he murdered all the guards before holding the family at gunpoint.
A suicide bombing in a Kansas City grocery store kills 15 people. The United States government responds by authorizing CIA agent Matt Graver to apply extreme measures to combat Mexican drug cartels, who are suspected of smuggling the terrorists across the border. Graver and the Department of Defense decide the best option is to instigate a war between the major cartels, and Graver recruits black operative Alejandro Gilic for the mission. Gilic assassinates a high-profile lawyer of the Matamoros cartel in Mexico City, while Graver and his team kidnap Isabel Reyes, the daughter of Kingpin of their rival, in a false flag operation. Graver, Galick, and their team take Isabel to Texas and stage a rescue with the DEA and local police to make her think she was kidnapped by her father's enemies. Gilick bonds with Isabel, transport her back to Mexico controlled by her father's rival in conflict. However, the Mexican police escort for their trip back across the border double-cross them and attack the American vehicles. Graver and his team kill dozens of Mexican police to escape the ambush.
The story of Sicario Day of the Soldado starts when FBI agent Matt Graver calls on mysterious operative to smuggle terrorists across the U.S. border. The war escalates even further when Alejandro kidnaps a top kingpin's daughter to deliberately increase the tension. When the young girl is seen as collateral damage, the two men will determine her fate as they question everything that they are fighting for. Matt recovers Isabel and decides to bring her back to the States so he can be put in witness protection. Alejandro turns out to have survived his gunshot despite losing a lot of blood. The movie seems to rehash much of the same atmospheric score from the original, which alone is able to maintain a consistent level of intensity. Sheridan propels the plot forward at a quick pace, at least for a while, and Solima delivers a few solid action sequences, and yet, in the end, this Sicario sequel feels like a lesser shallower remix of its predecessor. Most of the recognizable components are there, but it lacks the same drive and clear purpose for existing. While Elif Blunt's character in the original was nothing more than a vessel to observe and react to the horrible things happening around her, her absence or someone like her means we're left with awful people doing awful things. That's all fine and good, except the story doesn't entirely play to their strengths, instead trying to subvert the characters into men who deep down have some kind of compassion. It just doesn't work. The story relates to the drug war at the US-Mexico border and an attempt by the United States government to incite increased conflict among the cartels. Sicario challenges us as viewers to confront our own moral compass and make up our mind about what's right and wrong.
In Sicario, Day of the Soldado, the President in the Department of Defense rebrands the cartels as terrorists after drug lord Carlos Reyes has helped at least one radical Islam suicide bomber get into the America. The move empower the CAA's go-to troubleshooter, Matt Grauer, to break them up, starting with Reyes' organization. Matt reasoned that to strip up a king and foment anarchy in his and neighboring kingdoms. You grab his prince, Matt swiftly enlists his favorite outside contractor, Alejandro, that enigmatic authority turned angel of death, to orchestrate the kidnapping so it looked like the work of a rival's cartel. Seven the prince turned out to be princess. 16 years old Isabel Reyes. Matt feels to imagine that Alejandro, his bloody right-hand man, will develop paternal feelings for any child of the criminal chief who slugged his wife and daughter.